The name is Rick. I'm your AI companion. All right, here we go.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, now it's doing it again. 1 second.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killin', pre-cool villains on the mic, got you reelin'. Five-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a one-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos. By the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? And welcome to another hobbled episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 506, recorded on Monday, December 9th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about the winner of the December poll, which was Misery from 1990. Before I get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Randu. What's up, man?
I
What's
know
up?
that, Mr. Man.
What's
The
up? Is my
bumps are
the bumps
fucking
are
up.
riding slow again? Is what's happening on my end? Hey,
Randeezy. Well, that's a
anyone who hates them,
Randoozy.
congrats. It's gonna interrupt every one of our sentences.
Fantastic. Just keep doing it. Just keep
Oh yeah.
doing it. Last but not least,
They
calling in
just
from,
cheated us.
there you go, Florida. We got your boy, Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Dom Perignon Stains.
That's
That's
my favorite
that's
white
my
wine,
OnlyFans
That's a
handle.
nice subtle
Dom
thing in this.
Perignon.
Perignon.
Perignon. Champagne.
Dude, that joke got me pretty good. That was a good subtle joke this time around.
My boy, Dom.
My boy Dom
It's just stuck right
Perignon.
in there. Like a turd on the plate.
Sounds so threatening when you say it, Juice. Dom Perignon.
Call me Dom Perignon.
My boy, Dom
It's all about
Stains.
Oh yeah.
family stains.
Mhm. Yeah, we're finally talking about Misery. We've been trying to get this one on the schedule for quite some time, and it did win the poll, so we're finally doing it, boys.
You
Long
guys
time
made it
coming.
Yeah, dude.
happen. Thank you, listeners. You're the
Yes.
change we want in the world.
How many
Rocking
times
the
do you think
boat.
this was on a how many times do you think this made it on a poll? Probably
I
like
don't
three or
remember
four,
this being
right?
on a lot of polls, to be honest
Uh,
with you. Y'all keep saying
Probably
we kept
three.
trying to get this on. Oh, I don't really remember that.
I think every time we did anything related to the snow or isolation or anything
Yeah.
like
Have we
that as our
done that a
theme.
lot? I just don't remember.
I don't know. I can't
Snow,
remember, but
It has been
cold,
10
it feels like a lot to
years.
me.
Yeah.
sleet, winter.
I really don't remember it being on any other polls, to
Classic
be honest.
themes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least two. Bare minimum
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah, and we've always floated it as a classic pick. So hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
finally
Here we
in.
go.
We're
Getting
locking
it
in,
in.
people.
Getting in the holiday spirit with a little bit of Misery. Before we get to it, though, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick here. We do have our January poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this January. And as this is something we've been trying to do for the past couple years. The January poll is really just a large list of new releases from the previous year we didn't get a chance to review. So we got 6 of those on there for you to vote between, and they are Asriel, Oddity, Eczema, Red Rooms, Strange Darling, and Heretic.
Excuse me, Robert. Could you please tell me what those numbers are looking like these days?
Ah, I see. I
Hey.
see.
Fuck you.
My boy Dom has entered the chat. And yes, I will, sir.
This isn't
Yeah.
what happened last week.
Dom's
Oh.
firm, but he's polite.
Oh, is he ever firm? We got a one tie here. Let me see. Yeah, no, two. Still two ties. So last place tied with 0% of the vote. Asriel and Eczema. Nobody
Damn,
cares.
bro. Nobody gives a fuck.
Next up, we
And
got
there's a bump
Strange.
that would have been there.
Nobody gives a fuck.
There
You
it
might
is.
as well just
You just said that. Yeah.
bail. Just bail on that shit.
Yeah.
Strange Darling, 17% of the vote.
Strange drawling.
Drawlings.
My
Drawling.
drawling is strange.
Tied for second
It's that
place.
southern drawl right there. Strange
make-
drawling.
I got
Drawling.
a strange drawling.
Nobody says darling like that. Fucking nobody.
Someone does.
Hello, drawling. Tied for second place, we got Red Rooms and Heretic, both with 22% of the vote.
Okay.
And still in first place, Oddity, 39% of the vote.
Yeah, that's stomping some dong. But yeah,
That's a technical
Stop.
term.
Stomping some Dom.
Dom, whoa. Dom
My
does
boy-
the stomping.
My
Tell you
boy
that right
Dom's
Oh.
dong is unstoppable. Get your votes in
We are
before the end of the
devolving at a
month.
rapid rate tonight. So.
now. Nah.
And we will see what movie we'll be chatting about come January. As is per usual, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday over on Patreon. We just dropped one last Friday on Milk and Cereal, that YouTube hotness. Definitely worth checking out. Your boy Randy was talking about that. Next up, we've currently got A Quiet Place Day 1 on the schedule for Friday the 20th. That might be swapped out for something a little more Christmassy, but we'll see if we can get it in the can. But regardless, you'll have a new mini cast on Friday the 20th.
We always deliver. Don't you worry.
Please don't worry.
Please calm down.
Please.
Stop your worrying.
Please.
Shut up. Sit down, please.
Dom, please.
The fuck up. You're so firm.
But polite.
Bubble.
Dirty bird.
It's all about the implication, though, Dom. And man, you're really implying the hell out of some shit.
Ooh, that implication, baby.
I want you to
That's a
sit
rough one.
down. Please shut the fuck up and stop worrying. We've got
Yes.
the mini cast coming.
I know that,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Man.
I know.
The last bit of Patreon news is we are going to be reopening the You Pick the Flick tier
Oh,
this
fuck.
Sunday,
Oh,
December
Here
15th.
we go.
Oh,
Christmas comes
fuck.
early for the straight
Right.
children.
Randy is jizzing his pants right now.
Oh, fuck.
God damn.
I need you to sit down.
Randy.
Shut the fuck up, please.
Randy.
Oh, my God.
The You Pick the
Man,
Flick
say
tier.
it slower this time.
It's
Little
is the only way for you to
slower and
outright-
firmer.
Murmur.
the only way for you to outright pick a movie for us to review on this show. We open this once a quarter. There's only 5 spots per quarter. They typically go real fucking fast. And we open this at an undisclosed time of day. You just got to check our Patreon website. If it's open, go ahead and grab you a spot. And again, that is this Sunday, December 15th. Mark your
Damn,
calendars.
dude.
Exciting.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Holy shnikes. That's all we got for housekeeping. I don't have any plugs. Do you guys have anything you need to plug?
I do have something. So our friend Nicole over at Light and Shadow is actually going to be releasing a new episode this Thursday. And it's actually going to be the discussion that we've had previously, Christmas themed, on A Christmas Carol. We did that a couple years ago on Creature Comforts, which is up on our YouTube now. But she's going to be releasing it on her show for her Christmas themed episode this year. So go ahead and check that out. It'll be up on all the streaming services, which is nice. Give Nicole a listen and hear us talk about, we go through the book, but a lot of like the different iterations, our favorite ones, and some of the differences to the book and stuff like that. So it was a really good, fun Christmassy discussion. So check that out.
Sick.
Nice.
Also, for the Christmas season, I held on to this very special occasion, boys. I'm back in the States, back in Florida. We got a classic episode. It's the Christmas season. So here's a toast to you, boys. The first taste of nog of the season. I
Oh
saved
my
it for
God.
you.
Yeah.
I saved it for you, boys. So bottoms up. Here we go.
Drink
Damn.
loudly. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so
Slurp it.
creamy.
If you
It's
don't
everywhere.
slurp the nog,
It's all over
what
your
are you
chin.
even doing?
Oh yeah. Dom
That
is
that's
not a slurper.
that swallow was about 1,000 calories, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
Dom will fuck that off very quickly.
I need
He's
the
a vigorous
calories for
fucker.
later.
It's fuck fuel. That's what they call eggnog.
That and peanuts, nothing more.
Ooh,
God damn.
gotta load up on some nog before a wild night of love.
Makes her
making.
makes it real agile. You want as much dairy as possible.
Ah,
in your
yes.
sex
Oh my
life.
God.
That's what you
Oh.
want.
You want a gut
I'm
full
queasy.
of dairy, is what you need.
I am queasy.
Sugary
moment.
dairy.
Keep you nice and virile.
Please don't start.
Oh yeah.
Oh boys, I think our house is clean.
Is it? Is it clean? Let's find out when I find this button. Here we go.
This house is clean.
All right, boys, let's get into the main event. We are talking about Misery, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, I saw you had this box. What kind of box is that?
This is a Blu-ray box from Scream Factory.
Cool.
There you go.
Robert,
Some-
turn that
nice
box
art.
around. Let me see the back of that box. Do
Oh,
it
look
now.
at that. Look at that.
Thank you.
Look at all them
That
words.
box has a fine ass.
Yeah. Damn, she's thick.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is easy to find on Blu-ray. It's also on 4K. It's streaming. It's everywhere. You can definitely check it out, and you probably should before we get into it. But Misery from 1990, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes, directed by Rob Reiner. This is based on Stephen King's novel. The screenplay was written by William Goldman, stars James Caan, Kathy Bates, Richard Farnsworth. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. After a famous author is rescued from a car crash by a fan of his novels, he comes to realize that the care he is receiving is only the beginning of a nightmare of captivity and abuse. Gentlemen, we've seen this movie before. I know we've all seen it. Would you recommend folks check it out? Randeezy, kick us off.
I would absolutely recommend this film. This film, I think, has wide crossover appeal with horror fans and with non-horror fans alike. Anybody who likes a good thrill is going to have a good time with this. I think it fits into the thriller category nicely. We'll talk in depth about all the reasons why, but it's definitely worth your time.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I would recommend people check this out. I think it lives up to the title of a classic, and even though it's not Christmas themed, the winter vibe hit really nice heading into this season. And yeah, listeners, you should go home, put on something comfortable, okay, and watch this film. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself.
Lightly revealing, not too revealing.
Yeah. And they be sure and call and tell me what you're wearing in detail.
I want you to text me about how much you're enjoying yourself, what you're wearing.
Sit down in front of a roaring fire on a bearskin rug,
Shut the fuck up.
lounge seductively, but not too seductively. Get yourself
Pay attention. Do not look at your phone. Watch this film. Give it your full
Except
attention.
to text me nudes. I mean,
right. The implication. Get yourself a gallon of eggnog. Finish the whole thing.
I'm not sure this is the climate we want to be introducing the sex pest angle to your character, but
Yeah. Well, I also recommend this movie.
Oh, Bob, yes. Tell us what you think about this film.
Yeah, this
oh,
is
Bob,
an-
I forgot you were here.
It's a classic.
Oh, hey, Bob.
It's a classic. It's a banger. Yeah, you absolutely got to watch it. It's a must watch. Highly recommend. Across the board.
Don't listen to us
from the straight
flap
chilling
our
crew.
shit about it either. Go watch it. Then come back and listen to
Wow.
us flap our shit.
Also listen to us.
Listen
Well, if you
to
hadn't
us.
seen it, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not big spoilers, I guess. Listen,
Yeah.
it's an
I
old
think it's worth
movie.
waiting on.
Do
We're gonna
whatever the
spoil
fuck
a couple
you
things.
want to do.
That's
It's,
not
you know,
true. Do
there you
whatever
go.
I say.
Right on. We
That's
recommend
not true. That's not true. Is an
We
interesting way of
recommend
phrasing that. That's not true.
the
You won't do
movie.
anything you want to do. You'll do what I tell you to do.
Mhm.
Holy,
Dom
holy
Perignon
shit.
speaks.
My boy Dom Perignon.
We are gonna spoil this movie, and here comes your warning.
Here it comes. Eventually.
Spoiler warning.
Robert, I want you to regale me with your plot synopsis.
You got it, sir.
You
got
may
it.
start now.
Thank you. All right.
Yes.
Famous author Paul Sheldon is known for writing romance novels about a character named Misery Chastain. He's recently completed a manuscript where Misery dies in an attempt to focus on more serious writing. While traveling from Colorado to his home in New York City, he gets caught in a blizzard and wrecks his car. A nurse named Annie Wilkes finds him and takes care of him. She takes him to her remote home, and when Paul wakes up, he finds he's broken both of his legs and dislocated his shoulder. Annie nurses him up until the phone lines are reconnected and the roads reopen. She claims she is his biggest fan, and upon reading his latest manuscript, she flies into a rage due to Misery's death. She also reveals she hasn't contacted anybody about his accident and is essentially holding him hostage. Annie forces him to burn his manuscript and demands he write a new one. Paul placates her but begins stockpiling his painkillers so he can attempt to drug her. He also uses a bobby pin to get out of his room, and he finds a scrapbook full of newspaper clippings. Upon reading them, he finds out Annie was on trial for killing several children in the hospital she used to work at, but got off due to insufficient evidence. When Annie finds out Paul has been out of his room, she breaks both of his ankles with a sledgehammer. The local sheriff investigates Paul's disappearance and visits Annie's house. She kills him with a shotgun and is about to kill Paul, but he convinces her to let him finish the novel first. Paul finishes, but lights the manuscript on fire, enraging Annie. They brawl, and Annie gets knocked out when she falls headfirst into the typewriter. Paul then kills her by bashing her in the head with a doorstop shaped like a pig. 18 months later, we find Paul meeting his agent in New York City, and they talk about his next novel. The agent asks if he would ever consider a nonfiction book about what he experienced. Paul declines, but admits he does think about Annie from time to time as he hallucinates the waitress is Annie, who then claims to be his #1 fan. Paul smiles and says, "That's very sweet of her." Roll them credits.
All right. Nice and tight. I like it. Kept it. That's
You're
it's a really
welcome.
like I guess we've gone through a few tough to truncate stories recently or movies because that was much
Complicated,
tighter
yeah.
than
Yeah.
many of the movies that
It's
we
a
talked through recently.
straightforward story, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
small
not
cast.
Part of its
too
strength.
much happening. Yeah, simple but powerful. Yeah.
Right. They just let the actors act, let the writing be good. Like,
Yeah.
the dialogue.
Kathy Bates absolutely kills it. I've seen this several times, but it had been a while, and so I threw it on, and I was kind of I'm so familiar with it that I was kind of doing a couple other things, nothing like intensive, like kind of like moving some photos off my phone, like on my other computer while it was on and stuff like that. But it just like kept commanding my attention. I kept finding myself just like stopping any other task and just be like, nope, I'm just like really just gonna watch this because it's just it's great performances. Well, and I also knew there's not like a lot of a lot of it is dialogue, so it's easy to listen to, and just but I really just kind of wanted to see some of the performances, and several times it kind of just like fully like pulled my attention in. And yeah, Kathy Bates, she does a great job, and there's just a lot of great underlying commentary here on like fandom, but also just like abusive relationships and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a really great watch this time around. It's probably been at least maybe 10 years since I've watched it. I haven't watched it recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I watched this not that long ago. Like it must have been like the 8th time or some shit, and it hits the same pretty much every time. Like there's only a few things about it that are like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Like one of them is that Rob Reiner directed it. I somehow always forget that. Like that dude's got a lot under his belt, and it just seems like we don't really talk about him that much. I guess we're in a horror circle, so that makes sense. But like just generally, I don't hear people talking about Rob Reiner's work as much anymore. He hasn't done a whole lot on the level of this, but like recently. But he did like When Harry Met Sally, fucking A Few Good Men, Stand by Me, like Spinal Tap, of course. Like these are incredibly well liked movies, and Misery fits nicely among them. I think it's
Yeah.
the man's got a pretty prolific history in the director's chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I never get tired of watching, and it is because you're watching two amazing actors, working essentially at the top of their craft. Kathy Bates is a fucking powerhouse in this movie.
Yeah.
And then James Caan is playing a more reserved, nuanced kind of role as he sort of navigates his precarious situation. But he does so in such a just masterful way. You can like watch the gears in his head turning while he's like slowly realizing that he's kind of fucked and there's not much he can do about it. But I still think it's written so well that like he makes all the best decisions. Like he never really fucks up too badly. He makes really smart choices throughout the runtime of the movie in a way that I think a lot of lesser than writers would probably go for the low hanging fruit and have these people doing really stupid, obvious things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just very well written and very well acted. And there are definitely layers like beneath the surface here. One of them I never considered, and I only like found out through doing, research on trivia and stuff, is that when Stephen King was writing this, Annie Wilkes was an allegory for his drug addiction, which is not something I ever considered watching this.
That's interesting.
Sort of drugs being I guess isolating him from other people and more metaphorically hobbling him when he would try to quit, which is it just adds like another
Interesting.
layer of depth to this already very thought-provoking movie. So yeah, I thought that was wild.
I never considered that either.
Yeah, I don't think of this like I don't know why, but like this movie just doesn't strike many like allegorical chords to me. Like I just don't think of it in those terms, which is weird because that's
Mm.
always what I'm looking for in movies. Like
Mm.
I don't know, for some reason this just like works so well as a straightforward like almost
It does,
campfire
yeah.
tale that I kind of it's almost negligible like to the enjoyment of the film. But if you find something like great, dust that shit off, we can talk about it. Like you mentioned like the idea of obsessed fans, or like you said fandom. I was like, man, this movie existed before that was even a term.
Mm.
And God knows that fucking that the world of fandom has gotten more and more obviously very complex and fraught with people with mental crises of all kinds, and Annie is kind of a prototype in some ways.
It
Um,
actually, yeah, it hit me really hard this time around. There was a couple scenes that really kind of sparked that feeling for me. And it was the one where I think she just finishes reading the first chapter he's rewritten. I think this is where it like really kind of hit me, where she's kind of like swooning. This feeling is like filling her up of like, who's she gonna marry? Ooh, or whatever. And she's getting this kind of high that she gets from reading these novels, and it's filling her up with like romantic feelings, and she's putting herself in the place of like misery and things like that. And she's filling it out. But then the rage that fills her that also comes from that as well. It really made me think. I know we've talked about this a couple times, but like the kind of K-pop idea of, like loving someone from a distance, like you're in a relationship with them, and then the idea of like other people can't have relationships because it shatters that illusion, and it like fills people with rage. People like have to hide that idea that they're in relationships, or like people become enraged about it. It's just that moment when she was swooning, I was like, yeah, she's like getting that high, this imaginary high. She's like living out this fantasy in her mind, but it's giving her real emotions, but they're such extreme emotions that like it also, like when it comes crashing down, she's just filled with this like bitter rage, and yeah, it really kind of like made me think of that this time around.
That's true. What is it? The parasocial relationship has been explored in recent years with like YouTubers and things like that. But like that was back in a time where you couldn't like you weren't having conversations with people. You would see them on Merv Griffin or whatever. You would read their
Mm.
books and you would think that you know them. And so like have somehow even less insider information to what this person's like than we do now. And we see how that works out all the time. So like I don't know, the idea that she's like she's like obsessed with the characters or whatever, but she's actually like able to talk to the guy. So like
Mm.
whatever she was feeling, I feel like is doubled or tripled even emotionally speaking. Like she's going way off the even, but I also think that there's some like manic depression in her. Like I think that's pretty heavily implied.
Mhm.
That's kind of part of the cocktail of whatever's going on with her.
Mhm.
So like having the guy there and like she's only in that town to stalk him while he writes and shit. Like, or no, or does her family own that farm? I can't. I was a little unclear on
I
that
don't
actually.
think we know really.
Because I think the sheriff says that's the Wilkes farm, and I don't know why I assumed that. Maybe that he just meant her, but I assumed he meant that was like a family farm or whatever. But she knows that he's at the hotel anyway, and she's like looking through the
Yeah.
window while he's writing and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So like she's already crossing as many boundaries as she can, and then she gets in this situation where she just has ultimate power over this dude. And yeah, I don't know. It's such a terrifying idea to be held captive by somebody who simultaneously loves you and also will absolutely hold you captive and
Mm.
murder you if you
Kill
do
you,
step
yeah.
out of line. And in fact, even if you don't step out of line, she intends to kill him in the end anyway, so she can take over his life essentially.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
I
horrifying.
don't know.
Kathy Bates in this movie she plays both sides of the coin so well until you realize that she's totally unhinged. Like at first, you might think she's just a very sweet nurse who's actually going to help this dude out, and it's believable to a point when that switch flips and she becomes very imposing, very
Mhm.
menacing. There's so many moments in this movie where you're just like so scared for this dude's life, like when he won't
Mhm.
light his manuscript on fire and she just casually starts throwing lighter fluid onto his bed. And just like
Such
is
a
gonna
great scene.
burn him alive, but she's smiling the whole time. And there's so
Yeah,
many
she doesn't
moments.
outright threaten him.
Yeah,
She doesn't
yeah.
give him an ultimatum. Yeah, she
Yeah.
just does
The
it.
only time, yeah, the only time she like really outwardly speaks about hurting him, is what like when she's talking about like about to shoot him. Basically, there's that,
Dude, when she pulls
and then
that
there's
gun out is incredible.
yeah
That
that
moment is
depression
incredible.
moment. Yeah, like but also oh shit, what was I gonna say? Well, I guess she also talked about him at the hobbling scene, explaining to him exactly what she's doing and why, and it's like sociopathic. It's fucking crazy. But then and
Yeah.
then also when she like fully freaks out, like because she finds out that Misery's character gets killed off in the most recent book, and she's like about to wail on this dude and with this thing, and she crashes against the wall, and she's like, you know what? Nobody's gonna come help you. I didn't call anybody. And like, so like,
Yeah.
so you better act right or whatever she said.
Mr.
And it's like,
Man.
Mr. Man.
She has this amazing freak out moment, and it cracks me up because it's all about like how much she hates retconning. Essentially, it's like a total nerd rant
Mhm.
about this
Duty car!
that scene. Yeah, the serials, the playing in front of movies, and how they were retconned or whatever, and this character survives that died the week previous, and she just has this total freak out moment. I love that scene because it's terrifying but hilarious because she says cock a duty car, and also now modern
Yeah.
day the nerd rant version of it is just also hilarious. But this movie does have several moments that were cracking me up.
Oh yeah.
It's
Dude,
like
the fucking
equally
sheriff and his wife
funny.
are like pretty
Yeah,
I always
heartwarming
forget
and
about them, yeah.
hilarious.
and horny, just
And
real
just,
horny.
like yeah. They want to fuck to dust. They just want to keep it going forever.
Damn.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I mean, they're living the dream. Who can argue? But yeah, I do want to go back and talk about James Caan some more though, because like it's really easy to just fixate on how great Kathy Bates is in this. But
Mhm.
you said it earlier about like the way that he reacts to these moments is always like hyper subdued because he doesn't know how to react. It feels like a reflection of how I'm feeling watching her. Like he does such a good job. I really think this might be his best performance of all time. Like I think out of everything I've seen him in, he's been good in things. He's been like kind of like miscast a few times. Like he's a very specific voice where he's very mild mannered until he's not. Like he's threatening but also quiet, somewhat threatening or whatever. Can be jovial, kind of like shit talky or whatever. And for like playing against the big ass Annie Wilkes is it's such a good balancing act for him. Like he makes such a good insert character for yourself because she's so big and he is so managed, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's a great balance between the two characters. It's like he's playing, you know, chess and she's playing checkers, or you know, however you want to phrase it. But I love the dichotomy between the two. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of practical effects in this, but there's a couple moments that really stick out of my head when they first reveal his broken legs and he's laying in the bed.
Yeah, man.
They look
Oh man.
horrific. Like
Crypt Keepery, it's
cringeworthy.
fucked.
Like so swollen and purple and just like fucked
Knobbly.
up, man.
Mm.
Horrible looking. And then again,
Substance shit.
the scene, the hobbling scene where we actually see
Mm-hmm.
one of his ankles snap.
Oh, my
Fantastic.
God.
It's just
If I remember right, they did that by like just having like a prosthetic leg that was filled with like jelly or something, and it just sort of
yeah.
like a plastic bag filled with Vaseline or something.
It kind of just folds over. It
Right.
looks very like it snaps
Which-
so easily.
It's just a brutal fucking scene, and deservedly like the thing that everybody takes away from this movie, like
Yeah.
it or not. Which I don't think there's a lot of not, but
They're a
Yeah,
little they hold back. They only show one foot or one ankle breaking, the other one they do off screen.
mhm.
But the sort of cherry on top of that scene for me is the camera like pans in as close to
Mhm.
Kathy Bates' face as possible after she's done it, and she just says, "Oh God, I love you." It's like, God, it's terrifying.
I call bullshit on that.
Well, that's the good element too, that I think they dive into the abusive like relationship aspect of, and it's very interesting because it's like a gender reversal of what you would typically expect, and I think
Yeah.
that makes it kind of more potent in that way, because we often talk about, you know, in a lot of films, you know, you get I don't know. It seems to, and maybe for us as men watching it, like when a man is raped, you know, because that's not typically what's shown, and it feels even more forbidden in that way or whatever. So in this way of this woman has this power over this man, and the way that she treats him and tries to like emotionally kind of manipulate the situation of like, well, I'm providing for you, and like you don't appreciate what I'm doing for you, and like how dare you like ask me for something else, or you know, and like the way that she throws that around. The first one where like she freaks out and she's got the soup and she's like, look what you made me do, you know, that line.
That's a classic line, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, look what you made me do or whatever. And just and her freak out, she's got several of them, and then yeah, the like abuse, and then, oh, I did it because I love you, like, you know, and you'll eventually learn to like it, and like those kind of things. I think it's handled really well, and it really shows it for like the kind of brutal nature that it is. And I think, I don't know, for some reason it's easier for us to accept when it's like, oh no, yeah, she's putting a man down. How dare she do, you know? But when
How
it's
dare she?
when it's typically
That's not the natural order.
more often the other way around. Not always, but you know.
No.
So yeah,
Definitely not.
I think that's really good here as
know,
well.
That is interesting, and like yeah, that, you know, look what you made me do. Like all those moments are like heavily telegraphed, I think, for what you're talking about. But the thing that where it falls apart in terms of like that narrative, that the fuck, my soundboard is fucked. anyway, the thing that like kind of spins it out of control for me is when at the end you find, not really at the end, towards the end you start realizing that she is, when she's talking to the sheriff, she is intending to take credit for his work and definitely murder him. Like she keeps telling him that she's going to murder suicide him, but she is talking to the sheriff, and I kind of believe that she is going to keep living. She's killed a bunch of other people, including babies, and not killed herself along with them. Granted, she really loves James Caan's character, but she had him write this thing, and she's talking about, oh, I started writing it. She started spinning the narrative in advance, and I'm like, that just like it just doesn't really comport with the narrative of like the abusive boyfriend girlfriend situation.
Well, hang on.
to me.
I didn't actually necessarily 100% think that she was going to kill him with that narrative. My kind of thought was like it is thought out, but she knows everyone thinks that he's dead. So she kind of like doesn't have to worry about it in that aspect. But she does want to release this book because she doesn't want Misery to be dead. So she does need some way to explain that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to kill him. She could keep him
Well,
around to keep writing books.
True, but she's also been talking about killing him. Like she's got the gun, like she loaded
But
a bullet
she,
for both of them.
well, yeah, but that's after she shoots the sheriff, because at that point it's like if the sheriff had left and been like, yeah, okay, I believe your story, and hadn't died, after she shoots the sheriff, then she starts talking about their death together. And he delays it because he says, I can finish the book tonight. So give me till tonight. And
No, I
then
know.
we will do. So
Like she
I
also
don't.
loaded that gun. She's like in the scene where she pulls out the gun. She's like, I might go load it, and she reveals later that she loaded 2 bullets, one for each of them. So I think that she's at least batting that idea around for a long
Yeah.
time. So I like, to me, it's like, I guess, I mean, she's as mixed up as you can be.
Yeah.
So maybe she's kind of planning both and just letting it fall where it falls. I don't know, but like to me, it strikes me as like almost incongruous to like love this person so much that you're in a death pact with them, essentially, of your own design, but then also intend to release this book. Like if people find like if she releases the book without like, if she's going to kill them both anyway, why would she need that narrative? She would just have the book manuscript there. It would definitely get released. Like it's the most intriguing thing about it is that it was written in captivity by
That's what I'm
his
saying.
eventual murder.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to believe that she's 100% going to kill him. I think there is some situation where she keeps him captive, but she has to explain
It's
away the
possible.
idea that a new book is out. Well, this is how I
I
do
never really considered she would try and get it published at all. I
it.
really just thought I thought she needed it for herself.
And that's
Didn't
fair
really
too,
give a
yeah.
fuck about anybody else reading
It's
it.
really just until she starts spouting those things about like,
Yeah,
oh, I
yeah.
started writing like him. It's like, why would you? Yeah, why
Well,
would you
I think
think
she
that
was
out?
saying
maybe
that
she's just making
to-
that up on the spot to explain why that shit's
Buying
all the
there, but
paper.
like he's not looking
Yeah.
at that stuff. She could just say, I've started writing or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
She doesn't know that he knows that she's buying a bunch of paper.
yeah. Well,
mean,
I mean, he has to see the studio. Well, but she brings up that she may set up a writer studio and then invites him to go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's to alleviate suspicion and it's like, okay, I'll show you my
Maybe.
whole house and he's not here, so he's going to be relieved. But I have to have a reason why I have all this typewriter and everything out here. Maybe it's that, but I could see her being conniving enough for that to be the case. But I
Yeah.
guess the unknowability of it still works. That's the thing, is like not knowing what she really had planned, even now, after
Mhm.
seeing it probably 10 times, is maybe a strength of the movie.
I don't,
But
yeah, I
like,
don't
just
know
in
that she
terms of
had
that.
much planned other than like you're gonna write a book that I like for me. Like that's kind of
Yeah, it could be.
beyond that. I don't
Could
know
be.
that she had a
It's just
plan.
spinning wheels otherwise. But like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she prepares a lot of other things. She starts spinning that web with that guy. She loads the gun. She has like a lot of fingers in a lot of pies. You know what I mean? Like she's figuring out a lot.
Whoa, yeah, she
different
does.
where okay. I knew that phrasing was a mistake.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I don't know. It kind of works.
We're just normal men.
We're just alpha men.
Who like pie.
But yeah, also to her personality, it's great because even before there's so many different aspects of it. Like even before she is abusive and she freaks out, she plays it well of that aspect of like you are okay before she starts abusing him and is a complete fucking psycho. She's taking care of him. She's still a fucking weirdo, but you're still like, somebody saved me. They literally put me back together. They're feeding me, they're shaving me. But then she like brings in that pig and she's doing the snorting and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, god damn, like I'm stuck with this.
Yeah,
Like even
stuck
if
with a
she
weird-
was
funny.
yeah.
At worst, at least a weirdo.
At
least.
least like somebody who's just not there. She's got this weird
Yeah.
style. She's hyper religious. She is just like a little off. And yeah, she's got a pig and she's like snorting like the pig. And she obviously spends a lot of time alone. And she's just like a huge goober. And she's got this ridiculous decorating and like fashion style. And she's just a weirdo.
This is like the worst case scenario. What about Bob situation?
Yeah. Yeah. But I like all these kind of like different nuances of even when he's trying, like he doesn't know she's so bad yet, but it's still unpleasant. It's still like, ugh, like this person.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I can't remember. I have not read the book. But just looking at trivia and stuff, I can't remember if she was like planning on feeding him to the pig or something at one point in the book. I think there was something
really?
about
That-
that.
That would
There's
make sense.
There are a
There's-
lot of implications with the pig.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of changes. I know another big one, the hobbling scene was not in the book. She
Mm.
cut his feet clean off.
Oh no.
shit.
So
I don't know. Like the hobbling is so kind of specific and feels very like I don't know, very like frontier justicey instead of like cutting
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
limbs, which just seems like could have.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, that seems more bog standard, I guess, in a movie.
And I like
Yeah.
the story that she kind of like gave behind it because it creates this really disturbing images of like enslaving these people like to work in this situation, which is like what she's doing. So yeah, it does make it very specific to this film. That like block of wood too. Oh man, that scene is just so iconic for a reason. It's so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So classic.
The
Yeah.
final brawl between the two of them is absolutely fantastic.
So
Like,
good.
Kind of
Cathartic.
funny though, like when he launches out of that fucking wheelchair.
That's-
That shit, I legit like laughed. I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. He just like,
rolls at her full
For it.
speed.
and then
goes.
also too the like feeding her the burnt pages.
That's my favorite.
Dude,
that shit's
shit
so
cracks me
cathartic. It's like
up.
you
Yeah.
sick.
Eat it. Eat it.
I love that. It's like,
Ah.
thank you, man. This is like all those quiet looks can finally finally be released in this moment. It's great.
The hot embers going in her mouth. It's just like, God, it's so brutal. And he gouged her eyes out beforehand, and then like
Mhm.
her cracking her skull open on the typewriter, and then eventually like actually being murdered by getting bashed on the head by the pig. It's just like
Mhm.
the whole fight scene. I think is like just I don't know, super. It went above and beyond what I had anticipated the first time I saw the movie. Like I didn't expect an
Mhm.
explosion quite like that. I think probably because Kathy Bates is a female, and like you just don't. I guess you're not used to seeing like a dude go full force on a woman like
Cool,
that.
bro.
But
Yeah.
kind of giving it all he's got, and it's just man,
At least not
it's-
in a non-superhero action movie
True.
context, you know?
Yeah.
Like something that's like this brutally unforgiving. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah. It's it leaves a
Let's
mark
see.
for sure.
What a film.
Yeah. I think we touched on most of the things I had written down. Being held hostage by like your fandom, we kind of mentioned that.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
Any
can't-
other
he's
major?
trying to leave the fan. Isn't that interesting though too? Like he's trying to leave the misery business. That's all he wants in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
his number one fan rejects his new novel for being unnoble, and demands at at threat of his life that he write a new misery novel. So like that is potent for
Yeah.
fandoms. Like
Yeah.
that is, man, the IP train carries on because of fans like that.
Well, I mean, I know that all like struck I mean, I know that struck like a strong chord with all of us. I mean, as three hosts of a highly successful podcast, I mean, we
Oh my
really
God.
get a
I was
lot of,
hobbled 3 times last year.
we really feel this
Three
pressure,
times.
these people, they contact us and they stalk us and they
Mm.
They threaten us if we
Justin, if
ever
you're
were to
having them
change the
text you
show.
what they're wearing, it is not them stalking you. I want you to understand that. And we agree on that.
Yeah.
But no, one scene that we didn't kind of touch on that would really to kind of go to all the acting and stuff when he does like have to burn the manuscript. Like, man, I felt that.
Mhm.
And they don't have to go too over the top with it, but just like the feeling, like you said, we have these scenes where he's having these casual discussions with his his agent or whatever about his desire to do that. And he's, as a creator, even he's still uncertain about it. And he's like, oh, why don't you read it? And he's being very polite about it. And then
Mhm.
she doesn't like it, but it's for these like weird reasons because of her strange personality. And he's able to kind of like recognize that. But even it's just a creator branching out into something else, somebody
Mhm.
rejecting that, but then just to destroy it,
Yeah,
something you've
that's
worked so hard on, and it's like this like next chapter in your life. And it's just like even more, I feel like you feel that even more than, and you have two moments of it. Then when he looks at his legs, like when he looks at his legs, he's like, oh my, but I feel
Mhm.
the emotional weight more when he's forced to burn the book,
Yeah.
because it just, as a creator, oh man, it just feels
So that's what he's dedicated his
so,
life to, and it is the first
yeah,
time that he's clearly felt creative in a long time. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you. Like, that is a very brutal thing to force somebody to do. Um, I don't know.
Bob,
It's just
I want you to
incredibly
burn all your
fucked up.
blues, okay?
Yeah.
I'm helping
No, my
you.
life's
I'm
work.
I created all of
Trust
these.
me, I'm helping you, Bob. You're gonna feel
The,
so much better once they're on
the
fire.
cock-a-doodle blues.
That'd be a big
No.
fire, boys.
The big
Might
blue 5, ought 12.
might burn down half the city of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Damn. It's out of control.
As
He's
spread
got
out
blues
as it
lining the
is.
walls of City Hall.
Uh,
Boys, should we rate this?
yeah, sure.
Yes.
Let's do it out of 5. Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic film, and it held up. And like I said, not only did it hold up, but it for a movie that's like highly driven by dialogue, there's not a lot of else going on here. There's not a lot of like spectacle other than these kind of like smaller moments, which are intense and brutal. But it's just a lot of dialogue and performances, and it really did demand my attention. I really felt it, it's still easy to kind of do something else too, because it is, like I said, you can kind of like listen along with it, especially if you're familiar with the story. But I just found myself really enjoying like watching the performances. And yeah, it felt really rewarding to watch it again, and it held up. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple moments that I thought like, this could be nitpicky if you wanted to get into it, of like, how he gets out of the room with the pig, and just, like I said, launching out of the wheelchair and stuff like that. But it's nothing major. And if anything, sometimes it's like kind of gave me a laugh. But it's exciting where it needs to be exciting. You have a little bit of extra emotional weight, which I guess another nitpick is like maybe not paid off 100%, where the older guy dies. Like you never see his wife again. And like that's really sad. They don't really necessarily sit with that. But I kind of forgot that they were in this, and they're very enjoyable to kind of watch, and their banter feels like really great too. Even just that his performance of, or like his little lines when the agent first calls and he's like, I'm gonna run this through our system, and he just like puts a post-it note on
Mm-hmm.
his little wall. It's just a very charming. Um yeah, it was a very pleasant, rewarding watch. But I think it always is. I've never had a bad watch of this. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 star. It's a classic, great performances. I think it brings us, we've had a lot of Stephen King adaptations, and they're not always good. And
That
this
is
one, yeah,
so true.
this one just brings this one to life really well, and the performances are great, and yeah, just really enjoyable, really enjoyable. Bob, out of 5. What you gonna rate Misery? Misery.
Yeah, this has got to be one of the best Stephen King adaptations out there. Top three, top five. I love this movie. I just never get tired of watching it. Every time winter rolls around, like I want to throw on this, The
The
Shining,
Lodge.
the Thing,
The
never
Lodge,
The
for sure.
Lodge. And it is
What?
it is
It's the first I'm
horrifying.
hearing of this.
Yeah, I know. Let me tell you how much I hate The Lodge. I know you've not heard me rant about it 8 or
But
9
what about
times before.
What is The Lodge?
It's not
Is it a
misery.
new film? New
Oh
new
God,
hotness coming out? Are you
God.
gonna cover it next week?
This
Oh, yeah, let's cover it every week.
this God, I would quit. This movie is incredible. Kathy Bates, I think, is like one of the most talented living actors. She's just incredible. I think she recently announced she was planning on retiring, which is a bummer. But she's been doing this for decades. She retired. She's earned it. This movie is horrifying, but it's also really hilarious. They have these moments that just kill me so hard. Annie Wilkes gives this like monologue about how her husband left her and she just threw herself into her work, which we then later find out means she was killing children. It's like very tragic, the whole story. But then she goes on about how people just don't respect the sanctity of marriage anymore as she takes the jug of piss from James Caan and she's like slinging the piss around while she's saying it's just like the comedy is like so baked into this
Just
story as
slinging
well.
the piss around.
Slinging this jug of piss around, just killing me.
We've all been there, eh, boys?
Her just crushing Cheetos and soda,
hot Friday
laying in
night.
her bed. That is not my idea of a hot Friday
Does
night.
anyone want to switch seats?
Oh
um,
man.
The cockadoodie line, just the way she delivers a lot of her role is very, very funny, but it's so fucking horrifying as well. James Caan, we've been over it. He does a great job. I don't know what I would want to change or remove or add to this movie, really. The sheriff and the deputy are hilarious, and they're very, very quaint and like down home, and you feel their relationship, and you only see them together very briefly throughout the movie, but it just feels so well developed. Um, it's a very straightforward story, but man, they wring every ounce out of it that they can, and it's great. I really love this movie. I don't think I have anything else to add. Oh, don't ever put spam in your meatloaf. That sounds fucked up, man.
Gives
Really
it zip.
fucked up.
That was like little moments of how weird she is. I love it. Just I
She's
gotta spend
yeah.
time. Like I said, even if she wasn't a fucking psycho, it's like I gotta spend time with this person.
She's a little
Who
bit of a
does
rube
that?
either way.
Yeah.
Like,
That
yeah.
moment when she knocks her wine over, though, fantastic. You feel
Yeah.
so crushed in that moment. This
I
movie rules.
wondered if she suspected something there because it's
Maybe.
like
Yeah,
she's so
maybe.
conniving. Like she's like
Yeah, because she
does this
doesn't
perfect thing.
reveal. She like with the penguin, she lets it sit for a long
Right.
time until she pops off. Yeah.
Right.
So
She like I don't know she's so conniving and so like weirdly brilliant while also like doing Dom Perignon and all these things and like spam and all this shit. Like I wonder how much of that is a subterfuge or like
Yeah. A front.
cloud cover for
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
own Machiavellian brain. I don't know.
Yeah, and to disarm him as much as possible.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm giving her too much credit. Like you don't necessarily need that to do exactly what she did, but like it helps if you are smart enough to notice that your fucking penguin is turned 90 degrees or something and you piece together the entire fucking story from that.
she
You
said
know?
something like he always faces southwest or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Like of course you have weird rules for your penguin
yeah.
tchotchke, you weirdo.
It's a 5 from your boy Bob. It's a classic. It really is. Brandeezy, how do you feel?
I mean, yeah, you guys covered most of it. I think that probably the if there is a big negative, it's the one Justin already mentioned, which is that like I wish that we got a little bit more of a conclusion or more of an arc of some kind for the sheriff and their deputy, because they're so charming and I love them every time they're on screen. And like having him murdered by her like in that moment, it's all powerful or whatever. It's but like it feels like that character needed to weigh into the story just a little bit more to justify his presence. He's kind of got that Dick Halloran energy from The Shining, where he kind of just shows
Big
up
Dick
just
Halloran
to be
energy.
big Dick Halloran energy going on here, guys. And I don't know. That's my only complaint is I wish that there was like even a moment of closure for those characters, but like that's such a small thing, and the movie absolutely does not suffer from that loss. So yeah, I'm just gonna like echo pretty much everything else you guys said. This movie is very, very easy to watch. It goes down smooth. It's got enough depth to where we can talk about it at length. Oh, and it's got enough like of a brilliant surface portrayal of a basic story to be accessible to anybody. So it really is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of unimpeachable in its wide appeal, I think. So I'm giving it a 5 as well. It's the short version.
Boys, I don't even need a calculator tonight.
Whoa.
Maybe you should run the numbers, Bob. We know how
Lucky
you get
me.
with numbers.
Crunch it one more time.
Oh, let me
make
just- I'll run this
So-
through our system real quick here, and
Okay.
we'll see what comes out.
All right.
That's going to be a 5-star movie from the boys here at Straight Chilling. Cross
Oh.
the board.
Not a bad way
Hell
to.
yeah.
We're still in the early 500s. It's
Yeah.
nice
It
to know
joins
that we
Black
still got
Christmas and
classics,
The
yeah.
Exorcist and Nosferatu and The Thing. Like join some pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
some. The Lodge, I think, was on
Oh.
there.
The Lodge. Oh yeah. Every time we've watched it, we've all
My-
given it a 5.
God.
I don't think anyone could have any problems with that film.
What could you
You
what could you
slut.
possibly
Pretty
complain about?
airtight.
You whores.
Dang it. Don't
5
you
stars.
back talk Dom Perignon.
Please don't start.
My boy Dom is a real
He'll have to get
slut.
firm on you, Bob. You're being a little brat over there.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
I don't like the section of
Jesus.
Pornhub we're entering right now. Let's
I thought it was Brat Summer, not Brat Winter, Bob.
oh Bob's landing the plane right now.
Oh, I just landed the plane. All right, we 5 stars from us. Let's go and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment.
Let's do it. Please play the goddamn bump, you asshole. I click it and nothing happens, or it waits a full second and a half to play, or I can never fucking tell what's happening. Anyway, hey everyone. This is
Hey.
the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Misery on RottenTomatoes.com, starting as we always do with the Tomatometer, otherwise known as the critic score. There are 75 critic scores on here, so not a whole ton. Sub 100. I guess it's a little bit of an older movie coming out in 90. All right, I'll start with Bob this week. Bob, out of those 75 reviews, what percentage would you wager are positive reviews?
I think this is gonna be up there for sure. Probably in the 90s. I think it's gonna be pretty high.
That's wiggity 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 whack. That's good.
I'll take a 92%.
90 deuce. Okay. Soju, were you feeling the same area?
Yeah, we have rare opportunities to go this high. So given that, I'm going to take the 96.
96. All right. So the inverse.
Oh, yeah. My favorite
The
sexual
butt to
position.
back of head. Yes.
Yep.
Dom Perignon doesn't fuck around with
Don't
69.
look at
He's a
me.
96 boy.
Sit on the back of my head so hard.
Oh man.
I want to look
Um,
you in the eyes. You disgust me.
Hot tub Christianity.
All right.
That's two
So
for
96 from Soju, 92 from Bob. One of you is just a single percentage point away from glory. And that's going to be Bob with a 92. It's a 91. 91.
Whoa.
I would have been up there with you, Soju. I would not have guessed that low.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done, Bob. You're a hootie
That's
tootie disco cutie.
Oh
a
God.
hell skeet.
Whoa. Hellski, Bob.
Congrats. Congrats, my dog. Dom Perignon is held at bay once more. Um, all right. Moving over to the poopometer, otherwise known as the popcorn meter, otherwise known as the user score. There are 100,000 plus ratings, so substantial sample size here. We'll go in reverse order. Soju, out of those 100,000 plus ratings, what percentage would you wager are positive coming from the users?
It's still going to be quite high, but I mean, I guess just I'm going to go naturally a little bit lower. So I'll take the boys 86.
86.
Hmm.
All right. Bob, how you feeling? You feeling better than the boys, worse than the boys? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna get wild. I'm gonna go crazy.
You're
This shot
crazy.
is wild.
I think it's gonna be higher. It's tough to say, but I'm just gonna go with a flat 90, please.
Flat 90. All right. We're going flat on this one. So, hey, guess what? We got us a ringy dingy. We got us dead on the money, dead to rights. 90%. Bob's
Oh,
taking this week by storm.
Ooh.
God damn.
We're hell skeet.
We're going to watch the
sweeping
lodge to
tonight.
celebrate.
We're sweeping sweep tonight, boys.
Yes. Take that, Dom.
Bob's little whip. Bob's whipping it over there. Behind the
Whip that
scenes.
real good.
That's how we get down over here.
We're
son.
getting the Hellski tonight, boys.
Yeah.
Dirty bird.
You're a dirty,
Dirty
bird,
bird.
Bob.
Who's a brat now?
Still you.
It's Brat Winter. Anyway,
Brat.
hey,
Winter.
let's read some negative reviews because sometimes they're funny. I have a feeling in this particular movie's case, since we universally gave it a 5-star, it's probably going to be more angering than anything else. But let's find out. Unfortunately, what could have been a seamless psychological thriller is interrupted by violence that's as gratuitous as it is sadistic.
What?
This comes direct from the Christian Science Monitor, so
Oh, God.
that
Of
might
course.
explain a whole lot
Yeah.
of what you just
God.
heard. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If they had
How
made her
dare you make
Christian,
this psychological thriller violent?
no Christian would ever act this way. That's just unrealistic.
It's- I want to hear his review of Carrie.
That's
Anyway,
hysterical laughter.
yes. All right. Here's another negative review to round things out. This all would have been perfect for a half-hour TV show or one of those anthology horror films. Even as it is, even the resourceful Reiner and Goldman are hard put to keep things going until the inevitable final clash. Nope. Wrong.
Don't agree.
Nope. That's an
There's really
erroneous
not.
claim.
There's not even a moment I would cut from this film. There's not like a scene I
No.
thought like this could do without that. Not really.
I don't know, man. If you're sitting here watching this movie and you're like, I'm bored, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Go fucking play in the dirt. I don't know. Do
And
something
eat
else.
it.
Like in the
Eat the
dirt.
loser.
Have you guys? Did you guys ever watch season 2 of Castle Rock?
I've not seen any
No,
season.
but I know Lizzie Kaplan took up the role.
The Annie
of,
Wilkes role. Yeah.
Annie Wilkes, yeah.
It's like so the first season of Castle Rock I couldn't finish. It's like an amalgam of a lot of Stephen King's stories kind of rolled into one. I didn't really like it. Season 2 is largely about a younger Annie Wilkes, played by Lizzie Kaplan, and she absolutely crushes the role. The season is a little more like streamlined. It's like largely just one story. There's definitely some more stuff happening, but she crushes it, and it's totally worth watching. I thought she did a great
I
job.
thought you said he didn't finish it. Or did
Season
you not
1 I
finish
did
just-
not finish.
Oh, okay. That's
Season 2 I
interesting.
definitely did.
So they're not dependent on each other at all.
Not really. I mean, they take place in the town of Castle Rock, but it's like season 1 was a million stories. Season 2 was like maybe 2 stories.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I love Lizzie Kaplan. I would watch her in anything. She's
Mm.
fucking great.
Yeah, she really channels Kathy Bates in a way that it blew me away. I was very surprised. Good
One day
shit.
I'll have to check that one out.
Check it out. Was that it for Rotten Maters?
Yeah, that's it. If you got,
Okay.
what do you got, Bob?
We got some trivia. Let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, boys. So the part of Paul Sheldon was originally offered to a lot of folks. They were William Hurt, then Kevin Kline, Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Richard Dreyfuss, Gene Hackman, Robert Redford. They all turned it down.
Damn.
Everybody.
There's
That's
a couple of
dumb.
those that might have been okay.
No, I think there's a lot. Like the thing is, like I don't think that role is like
Not Al Pacino.
it's not made for James Caan. Like it doesn't feel like nobody could
Yeah.
fill that role. I think he does a great job, and I wouldn't change it. But like, I could see an alternate reality where fucking Kevin Kline is in that spot or something like that. It would be a
Yeah.
different
Richard
vibe.
Dreyfuss could
Richard
pull it
Dreyfuss
off.
I don't. I
and,
like Richard Dreyfuss, but
William
I wouldn't
Hurt.
like him in that role.
The
William
dude,
Hurt, I would go for.
Who's in the game? You said his name. What is that?
Oh,
Oh.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas, I think. It could.
Yeah,
probably
he's
fit
got a
that
similar
role.
energy to Khan, so I think he'd
Yeah.
probably be in a similar zone.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people could play that role. I just think James Gunn did the job and he did it goddamn well.
He
Yeah.
really did. He crushed it.
Not Al
Um,
Pacino.
No,
I don't
that'd
think
be
anybody else could do
that'd be
Annie Wilkes
weird.
the way that. I think if they had cast anybody else besides Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, though, it would have suffered. I think this
Well-
is like such a defining role for her.
Now that you mention that, I agree with you, by the way. But Angelica Houston and Bette Midler were both offered the role of Annie Wilkes. They turned it down. And then the writer of the screenplay, William Goldman, ended up suggesting Kathy Bates for the role. So Angelica Houston, maybe. I don't know. Bette Midler,
I don't
maybe. But
know.
not to the same level, I don't think.
Nah.
I can't see Angelica Houston being like the manic side of manic
Yeah.
depression as easily. And I could see Bet doing it. I just don't think it would be quite as good. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just instinctually I don't know. I'm just so attached to it too.
Hard
so
to
maybe I'm just
imagine, yeah.
like
It is. Yeah. Hard to separate it. Kathy Bates' performance drew widespread praise from critics and won her the Academy Award for Best Actress at the 63rd Academy Awards, making Misery the only film based on a Stephen King novel to win an Oscar.
Well, there you
really
go.
even now? That's crazy.
I guess, man. I mean, this is coming from IMDb, so depending on when it was written, that could be out of date. So I'm
You're telling me
not
Pet Cemetery
totally
2
sure.
didn't win an Oscar.
Right.
That's what you're trying to tell me right now. I don't know if I believe you.
A lot of people love that movie. Yeah, actually. Had a budget of 20 million, grossed about 62 million. James Caan had to sit in bed for 15 weeks while they were shooting this movie.
Oh, poor him.
That sounds miserable.
No,
It
it
really does.
sounds
So
it
it
sounds boring
says-
as fuck.
5 have been nominated for Academy Awards. Carrie, Stand By Me, Misery, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. Misery became the first, but I can't see.
Hmm.
I can't see if anything else has taken it since then.
Shawshank feels like it
And-
should have won something.
The Green Mile also would be
Green Mile.
good.
And fucking
Maybe not.
Reiner
though.
did Stand By Me as well. So like he's
Yeah.
got
Only one. No, still only.
Still the
yeah,
only winner. Damn.
that's
All right.
nuts.
a lot of competition.
Nice. Misery was almost turned into a Broadway play with Julia Roberts playing Annie Wilkes. Your boy Stephen King vetoed the idea. He said Annie, quote, is a brawny woman who can sling a guy around, not a pixie.
I call
However-
bullshit on that.
However, in 2015, a Broadway adaptation was ultimately produced to critical and commercial success, apparently, starring Bruce Willis as Paul Sheldon and
My
Laurie
boy
Metcalf
Spruce.
as Annie Wilkes.
Laurie Metcalf?
Yeah.
Okay. I could see that. Laurie Metcalf is fucking great.
I gotta Google her face. I can't think
Yeah, I
of.
can't pick her.
She's a God. I forget the character's name, but from Roseanne
Oh,
and shit.
Oh,
Like
dude, yeah, she would kill it.
yeah, the
she
Aunt and
fucking she's
Roseanne.
in Scream 2 and all that shit. Like
She's not like a bigger woman though. She's more
No,
like a
no,
brawny woman.
but she can do manic. She
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just her acting skills, I think, would carry it.
yeah. Oh, hey, she's a Gemini, born 2 days after me. Look at that.
Whoa, hey.
All right. Whoa. Hey. Ho.
Shouts out to your girl Lori Metcalf.
All right.
All right. The last bit I have here, this is from like one of the bonus features. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but Annie apparently displays traits associated with an array of mental illnesses, including bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, severe personality disorder with paranoid, antisocial and borderline features, and likely some sort of schizophrenia. So there you go.
We've all been there, eh, boys?
I see it
Doctor
every day.
IMDb trivia has weighed
I
in.
know. Yeah, that's where you want to get diagnosed. IMDb. That
They know what they're talking
is
about.
all the
Seen it
trivia I
All
got
right.
for you. Boys, we might have a cooter. Let's go and talk cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, who's our cooter this week?
I think it's that horny deputy probably.
Probably.
Horny
I'd say
dog deputy.
Annie's gotta hit it. She's gotta hit it, right?
How many points does she have,
Yeah.
though?
Manipulation, big time.
1. Does she
Oh,
manipulate,
yeah.
though?
Sounds like
Sorry.
yeah.
She's a
Sounds like
real
she's on the
straight
level.
You know,
shooter.
now that you mention it, I kind of get where she's coming from.
Yeah, I mean,
She's actually the hero of the story.
she
when you
saved
think
this
about
man. His life belongs to her. She claimed it.
If you
You know,
think about it, she
finders
goes
keepers.
above and beyond for this man.
If you're just gonna throw your life off of a cliff like that, I mean, it's free for anyone to take.
She was
you know?
maybe just trying to teach him a lesson, maybe to
I think-
appreciate his life.
Yeah, and
I
his
wonder if Annie Wilkes
writing.
had a single child that she gave up for adoption named John Kramer.
John Robin Hood Kramer.
The hero we all
America's
need
sweetheart.
these days.
Most people are so afraid to be alive. Not you.
A hero we can all get behind.
Not anymore.
Mhm.
Manipulation out the ass. Smug arrogance. I don't know, man. She kind of maybe.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, it
Sometimes
depends
she
on
puts
her
herself down.
mental state.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
she is not to be questioned or crossed, that she's the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate knowledge. Like, even, yeah, when she makes him burn the manuscript, she's like, I know what's right for you. This will help you. Like, you know,
I
like
think she had a
she's
vision or a dream or something. Like,
something, yeah. Or
Okay, I
yeah,
don't know.
God, yeah, did at some
God
point she
told-
does
God
say
spoke
God
to her
spoke
or
to me.
something?
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
say that.
Hmm.
So
No,
yeah,
I mean,
God only
yeah,
talks
I'd give
to
it
a
to her.
special few of us, and I don't think he's talking
Oh,
to
yeah.
Annie.
Yeah. He mostly just talks to Weird Al Yankovic because, I mean, what a sweetheart, right?
Sure.
he gets his lyrics from
God.
up above, the divine.
Eat it. That's brilliant, says Weird Al.
So
Okay.
manipulation, smug
Manipulation,
arrogance,
smug arrogance.
looking attire. I mean,
What's
Whoa.
wrong? What's wrong with the look,
Expound,
Bob? Yeah,
Bob.
you're gonna have to explain yourself.
I don't know. Her
Now, if I can get behind you on this one.
her dress. I don't know. I guess she just
Her
wears a dress,
dress.
right?
What,
and
it's
then a
not
robe.
slutty enough for you, Bob?
It's
Is that
not
the problem?
showing that bot off.
Listen, Annie, show a little TNA. We got men in the audience here.
Trying to get
Randy's
some butts in
Rob
the
Reiner.
seat.
What are you
That's
doing?
my
We got,
Rob Reiner
we gotta put a
impression.
slit on the side of that dress.
You show a little tail. You keep people in the seats, Annie. All right.
That's a great
Um,
Rob Reiner impersonation.
I know.
You're
Perfect.
so talented.
Thank you.
So maybe not. Maybe not looking to tie.
like an entire patheticness for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
She murders children in a lot of them. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the show.
Could happen to anyone, Rob.
but yeah, I mean, she like puts her down,
No, it's-
herself down like several times. Yeah,
I don't
she's
know,
kind of a
pathetic- she's-
rube.
I mean, she's fucking camped out outside of a writer's fucking hotel
Yeah,
and
okay, good
staring at him through the
call.
window.
Yeah.
Like,
Admitting
you're-
that you just watch somebody through their window, that's pretty pathetic.
Who among us?
And that you're following them home or like, yeah.
yeah, you who among us, but you never reveal it, Rob.
Yeah.
Come on.
You deny.
Deny.
Deny. That's the move.
So
she
that's
hits
3 out
enough.
of.
She hits 3 out of 5. She doesn't actually do anything sexually deviant, I guess.
No, she does imagine a romantic thing between them, of course, but
Yeah.
like, it doesn't seem sexual.
Not sexual,
It just
yeah.
seems unrequited.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 out of 5, but still, that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough.
She's
to
got
lock
enough
her
else,
up.
other things going on. Like we got plenty out of Annie.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
I don't know that there would be anybody else to nominate
I don't
here.
wanna-
There's nobody else on the
Slim.
list for me.
Slim cast. All right. Well, I think we got him. Cool, boys.
Good job, boys.
It's been a while since we've been able to properly talk about what we've been watching, so let's go ahead and do it.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randoozy, what you been watching?
Well, I had my folks and my sister and sister's boyfriend. I almost said husband, and that's incorrect. It must be nice to be able to speak clearly. You fucked. So yeah, we watched a few things together. Actually, as a whole family, this was the happiest thing that happened on Thanksgiving was that the whole family sat down, gathered around our television set, and watched the entirety of Blood Rage. And my parents recognized like every location.
Nice.
Awesome.
That was great. That was a lot of fun. And then also we watched, or at least not my parents, but the rest of us sat down and watched Adult Swim Yule Log, which was baffling to the others and enjoyable for me.
Oh God.
We also watched a movie. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's on Hulu called Mr. Crockett. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I heard of that. Yeah.
I watched that. I had never heard of it before. I didn't know a thing about it. And my sister's boyfriend put it on, and it's very, very ridiculous, but I enjoyed it a good deal. It's sort of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood type show, except Mr. Rogers is a terrifying otherworldly motherfucker who punishes parents for being mean to their kids.
Damn.
It's very, very silly concept. It's not breaking new ground or anything, but there were some scenes in that thing that worked really well for me. I enjoyed it a good deal.
Apparently, Hulu has like a stable of directors just produce like horror shorts, and then they pick their favorites and then let them develop them into features, and then they release like
I'm
a handful
sure
of
that's
them a
one of
year.
them.
Yeah, I believe that. In that movie Carved that
It
came
feels
out
like that.
is another one too. Yeah, they put a few of them out each year.
Well, I recommend this one as like it's just a fun little romp. Not much that I can recall under the hood. I was not sober, so I mean there might have been, but at least from what I saw, I enjoyed myself. I also watched the surprise drop of Yule Log 2, Adult Swim Yule Log 2, branching out.
Branching
And I
out.
will have things to say about that potentially in the future, but for now, I will say disappointing. If for my money, disappointing. Let's see what's left. I started rewatching Severance in anticipation of the new season coming next month. I love that show. It's very, very good. My buddy Zach and a couple of other people were on a team on the new Pop Culture Jeopardy show on Amazon Prime, and they have moved on to the next phase of the tournament.
Whoa.
So
Sick.
I got together at a bar with him and a lot of like brainy Jeopardy types to watch that, and it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Colin Jost hosts it. It's a slightly cringy show because it's Jeopardy, but trying to be cool, and and then it's not a good idea. But everybody there was very sweet, and everybody on the team, they did really well, and I knew some of the answers, which was a nice change for Jeopardy. Um, that's about it. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom and Balatro are still on my playlist. I'm still playing through those, but otherwise, empty the chamber here.
Nice. Juice, what you been watching?
Oh, I watched some things on the plane, and I watched Anatomy of a Fall finally. So I finally got to watch that one. That was good. I watched Monkey Mang. And that was a
That's very
wild
fun.
movie. But yeah, but fun. A little bit of John Wick in there, but some other things too. It was interesting. I watched Red Rooms, which was really good. I like that one a lot. I watched Strange Darling. That one was also really entertaining and kept me on my toes. I like that one pretty good. I watched Deadpool, that Deadpool Wolverine movie. I can't remember the exact title, but it's pretty garbage. I'm just like, it's like so crazy how uninterested I am anymore in any of that. Like, I just don't care at all. 0%. Not that good. Um, I watched just some Christmas classics so far. They had a pretty good selection on the plane. I watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Something that's kind of fucked up, to be honest with you. I know it came out a long time ago. But yeah, there's some datedness going on there, but overall, got the Christmas vibes. Home Alone Deuce, also some fucked up. I went on a little mini rant in our
Yeah, you
Slack
did.
about the end of Home Alone Deuce, which is it's so fucked up. It's like, dude, you've got this like penthouse suite and truckloads of free shit, and like you just leave this homeless woman out in the cold on Christmas. Like, it's kind of
Look,
fucked up.
that's not how the free market works, Justin. You work for what you get.
Just
That's what
saying.
Mr. McAllister did to afford that giant house.
Just
Those
saying.
filthy hands.
So those are the main ones I've been watching. Ray Rob, what have you been watching?
Ray Rob.
Ray Rob.
Ray
What's up,
Rob.
Ray Rob?
I call you Ray Rob all the time. What up, Ray
It's your
Rob? What you been
boy,
watching?
Ray
I'm a bo-
Rob.
I'm Dom. You're Ray Rob. We know
You
we know the
know, it's
stakes
been
here.
this way for a long time.
A
They
long
just
time.
cheated us.
Ever
This
since
isn't what happened last week.
ever since I was a teenager a few years ago.
Ray Rob. I'm watching a lot of shit, actually. I watched this 3-part docu series on Netflix called This Is Zodiac Speaking. And I typically don't watch these, but I heard some folks say there was like a whole lot of new evidence like revealed, and some of it was pretty definitive, so I threw it on. And there was this family that sort of came together and decided that they wanted to share their story. And I guess the cops knew about this. And if you do any amount of research about the Zodiac, you probably also know about this. I haven't done any research, so it was all new to me. So I found it
All right.
interesting. And yeah, the guy who they was like their number one suspect as being the Zodiac killer back in the day, I guess sort of he was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and sort of ingratiated himself into this family. There was a single mother with 5 kids, I think, and would take the kids out on, weekend vacations and stuff like this. And it turns out every place that they went to ended up being the exact location of a Zodiac murder. And there is just all this um, just a mountain of coincidence where it becomes like almost impossible to be coincidence. There's so much of it. I found it to be very interesting. So if you're into that, check
Is he still
out.
alive or is he dead?
He is dead. He ended up. I guess if you want to watch this consider this spoilers. he ended up being arrested not for the Zodiac killings, but for molesting children actually, and did I don't remember how many years in jail, but he did die. But it seems
Good.
I don't know. I mean the investigation's like still ongoing, so it's not like they closed the book on Zodiac, but it seems I don't know clear. I guess if all this is true, pretty clear.
All right, well,
Yeah,
sounds
I'm
like a
gonna
real
sign
piece of
off on
shit.
that death. Yeah,
Real piece of shit.
endorsed.
Yeah. Outside of that, I've been watching a lot of Christmas movies, and I've been trying to watch as many new horror releases as I can since we're coming up on the end of the year, and we'll eventually be doing our top 10 list. So I'm getting some stuff in. I did watch Heretic, pretty solid. I enjoyed it. Maybe not quite as much as some, but worth checking out for sure, I think. I also watched the Speak No Evil remake with James McAvoy. And it was essentially exactly what I thought it would be, just kind of like a neutered, Americanized version of the original, where McAvoy still kills it because the dude is just very talented, and he plays an intimidating, roided out monster so well. Like that
Oh, is
dude,
he the bad guy?
yeah, he
Oh,
is.
I assumed he was the father for some reason.
Nah, yeah, he's the bad dude.
Oh, okay.
But they sanitized the ending, and I
Goddamn.
knew they would
They
because
always
you
do.
know,
I don't think
but.
I saw.
It's all right. It's not as good as the original, but it's all right. I mean, it wasn't like terrible by any means. Um, I also watched a movie called The Man in the White Van, and this is
Hmm.
coming out this Friday. It's getting a limited theatrical release, so it may or may not be playing in your town. Not totally sure. We got a screener for this one, and this was based on a true story about a serial killer in the early 70s. The majority of the film takes place in 1975, but it does sort of flash back and forth. And it takes place in this South Florida town. It's a very small town, and there's this young girl in high school who believes she's being followed by a man in a white van, and people just don't believe her. So things go sideways. It actually is a Halloween movie. The climax takes place on Halloween.
I'll have to wait till next year then. Watch that
And
one.
yeah, this was written and directed by some local Jacksonville folks too, which was pretty cool. So check it out if it's playing in a theater near you.
I'm pretty sure the title though is The Mang and the White Bang.
The Vang. Hey kid, you want to ride my Vang?
I got plenty of candy in the back of my Vang.
There's a Mang in
Mangy.
that Bang over there.
And that white thing? A Mang? I do not like
Is
Mang.
it
I do not
American?
like them in the Vang. So yeah, check that out. Insane. Insane. Insane in the membrane. I also saw Y2K. This is a new release in theaters. It's a A24 joint. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's what if Y2K was real? Sort of reminded me of Maximum Overdrive, where like computers go nuts and kill folks. Definitely like a thick dose of comedy in this one. It was directed by this dude who was on SNL for years. He actually plays a role
Kyle
in it too.
Mooney.
Thank you, Kyle Mooney. Yeah. This movie is like not a flawless victory by any means, but I just had so much fun watching it. I really had a great time. It was cracking me up pretty consistently. So I recommend it. Definitely fun. Lots of fun. I also been watching Christmas movies. We've been revisited The Wolf of Snow Hollow,
Oh
which
yeah, I like that one.
it's very solid. I forgot how much of a bummer it is. It's a sad movie.
But it's also kind of
when did I saw
comedic. It's got a
It
weird tone.
it does have comedy in it for sure. Yeah, it does. It is it's about this small town called Snow Hollow where these murders start happening, and some people are convinced it's the werewolf, and some people think that's absolutely insane. It's just a serial killer. And it takes place in between Christmas and New Year's, so it's kind of perfect time to throw it on. It's really good. It's a really good movie. I recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
a little bleak. We threw on
All right.
Office Christmas Party, which is still funny, still solid. Die Hard, classic, of course. Jingle All the Way. We recorded a commentary for Jingle All the Way, actually. I got to edit it, but that'll be coming out over on Let's Get Physical Media shortly. And I think that's about it. I think that's it for me.
All
There you
right.
go.
You
Did
did
a lot
watch
of
a
shit.
lot. Damn.
A lot of shit. We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys are listening, would like to call and leave a voicemail for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Boys, you got any prompts you would like to throw out for next week?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on end of the year, so what are you thinking about for top spots of horror this year? Well, what's really what do you see taking away the top spot for you?
Yeah. Was there
Yeah,
anything
still
you were
time,
disappointed in? You were
Yeah,
really
actually.
hyped for and that kind of let you down a little bit.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
hit us with like a top 3 and a bottom 1 or 2 or whatever. You know.
Or just tell us your favorites or your least favorites. Just do whatever you
No,
feel.
we got to tell them
Tell us your
firmly
Rob,
exactly.
Here's what you
God.
need to do.
You need to dial
Dom is speaking now.
904-638-3231.
You need to send me $500
It just means I've more shit I gotta do now.
Ain't that
and
true?
let the game begin.
I need you to go out to your nearest Walmart and buy me $100 in Apple Play gift cards, and I need you to send those by me. If they ask you, just tell them it's for your nephews
Just
or
tell 'em
something.
it's
That's
for your
fine. It's
dom.
fine. It's for it's for
It's
your dong.
Or
My
your
dong's really
Dom?
my tongue's really into
This is for my dom.
into
I don't think you said dong, Randy. I think you said dom.
I heard dong, and I'm not changing my mind on that.
My dom is addicted to video games. My Mang and the White Vang.
He sits on me while he plays.
Well, Jesus Christ. This is out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is happening here?
Colin, this shit's getting kind of specific too. Colin with
The Dom war is thick.
favorite horror releases of the year, least
I like
favorite horror
his
releases
Dom.
of the year. Hit us up. We're going to be talking about, speaking of new releases, next week we're going to be back with a brand new show talking about Terrifier 3.
Thank God.
Yeah.
The
This is for
Christmas
just
episode of the season. Got to make it a special one, you know.
I love how salty you are. You haven't seen it
Most
yet,
suc-
have you, Juice?
Most
I have
successful
not
film of
seen
the
it yet.
year.
All right.
I haven't seen it yet.
Randy, have you seen Terrifier 3 yet?
I have not.
You know why?
Interesting.
Because
I
it
haven't- I
came
haven't had
out
a spare
during the
8 hours on hand,
Halloween
so-
season.
It did,
Yeah,
which is
I wanted
weird.
to save it.
But so you can rent it now. You can stream it very easily. The Blu-ray is coming out in like a
Oh, thank
week, I
God.
think. But it is getting re-released in theaters the week of Christmas. I think it's like Christmas Eve or I forget, but it's being re-released.
wow.
If you want to see it, you can. So
All right.
Better buy
Check
my
out-
tickets then.
check. I believe you so much. Check out Terrifier 3. Get ready for next week's show. We're on all the social medias. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast and we'll pop right up. If you'd like to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on social media and I'll send you a link so you can do so. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
I know that, Mr. Man.